Okay, please welcome our next presenters, toothLAB.
Hi, we're toothLAB and we revolutionized the toothbrush.
Well, before we start, let us go back in time a little bit. This is me some 20 years ago, and at that time of my life, I was like, I didn't have anything to worry about, but there was just one thing that really annoyed me. Every day I had to brush my teeth, and it's like, honestly, not a lot has changed to that. I mean, I still don't like it. Or is there anyone who likes brushing your teeth? Yeah, you like it? Okay, so 1 out of 100. And back then I was already asking myself, why isn't there a machine that does it for me? Why do I have to stand in front of the mirror and stand there for 2 minutes and clean my teeth? Why can't the machine do it for me? And now, 20 years later, there's still no such device out there. And if you have a look at the evolution of the toothbrush, you can see it's all pretty similar. And if you have a look at the device on the left, that's a so-called makasi, and they used it to clean the teeth 7,000 years ago. 7,000 years ago, the toothbrush looked like this. From then on, the brush heads got bigger, smaller, and the brushes themselves got softer. Then in 1954, they introduced the first electrical toothbrush. A few years back, they introduced the first ultrasonic toothbrush. But all those technologies, all those toothbrushes have one big problem in common. People, they don't know how to use them correctly. And in fact, 2 out of 5 cases of tooth decay are because people don't use the toothbrushes correctly.
So imagine, what if toothbrushing gets automated? What if there's a device that does everything for you and ensures that the teeth are clean every time you use it? You don't believe me? I got the vision right here. This little device does everything for you. You just put it in the mouth, turn it on, and we'll do all the work. And since it cleans all the teeth at one time, it just takes 20 seconds. Isn't that awesome? And
yeah, maybe you can explain us the technology a little bit more in detail.
Let's see at the technology. Here you see in white, that's the housing. It contains all the technology we need to clean. And now in red, there's the gel cushions. They're really soft, and they're made to adapt to your teeth perfectly. So we use 2 very innovative technologies combined to clean your teeth perfectly. You have to know that the teeth are like negatively charged, and the black, that's the stuff you want to get rid of, is positively charged. This leads to that the black is really sticking to your teeth on the surface. So with ionization, we change the polarity of the teeth, so the black gets repelled. As the black gets loosened from the teeth, the gel cushion starts to vibrate really fast. So it transmits ultrasonic waves and kindly flushes away the black of your teeth. Valentin, can you show us what is our device compared to the other device out there?
Yes, I can. So when we came up with this idea, we first had a look at the patents, and we thought there must be something out there that goes somewhat in the direction we want to go to, but we didn't find anything. So we thought, let's just compare the current toothbrushes, like what we all use, to our device. So we're comparing our device to electric toothbrushes, ultrasonic toothbrushes, and manual toothbrushes. To do so, we put a graph there, and we're using 2 variables. First, efficacy and convenience. Obviously, our product is much more convenient to use than the current solutions, because, I mean, you just have to put it in your mouth, wait 20 seconds, and the teeth are clean. But what is even more important is the efficacy. I mean, in theory, electric toothbrushes and ultrasonic toothbrushes can achieve pretty high levels of cleanliness. The problem is the mistakes that the user makes. And that's the difference to our product, because users, they don't have any influence on the device. They just put it in, and the device guarantees a high level of cleanliness every time you use it.
So how do we get to the customers? That's pretty simple. We team up with dentists, and when the customer goes to the dentist for the annual checkup, he recommends it to the customer. And all the customer has to do is get the teeth measured. The dentist will then send us the data, and we assemble the device. After a few days, the device is in the customer's mail. So easy. So, how we do make money out of it? The customer pays us a monthly fee. It's $1 per day, so not that much. And you can look at it like a subscription for the cell phone business. And we provide him with a device and an all-inclusive service. So if something breaks, we get it fixed for free, no matter what it is.
Yeah, and in addition to that, we provide an exchange of the device. So after every year the person uses it, we send them a new device, they send back the old device, we recycle the materials, so that we can guarantee they always have the newest standards of toothbrushing.
Yes, that's our service. So why should the dentist cooperate with us? He gets a commission for every device he sells, so he can earn more profit with that.
In terms of market potential, we want to focus on the European market. So by 2020, there will be some 500 million people living in Europe. And I mean, everybody or almost everybody brushes teeth. In Europe, we use quite a lot of the electric toothbrushes, accounts for about 40%. So it is expected that only one per year, they sell 20 million new electric toothbrushes. So taking this, and also the brush heads that you always have to exchange, there is an annual market volume of 3.4 billion euros a year. Since we're quite premium, our product is quite premium, it's a little bit expensive compared to conventional toothbrushes, we only want to target the top 20% of the market, and our goal is to get a market share in that segment of 1% per year. So that accounts for 6.9 million euros. In numbers of devices, this would account for about 17,000 new sold devices. Let's talk about the financials. That's a break-even analysis, and we're using the costs in red, revenue in green. And you can see that we need 3 years for development, and we expect costs to amount to 10 million euros in that time. Seems like a lot, but the good thing is, once we start selling our product, and we expect to sell 17,000 pieces a year, we already break even in the first year on an operational basis. And then the good thing is that we have a subscription basis, so the current customers, they keep paying in. So every year we want to get 17,000 new customers, and the old ones, they keep paying for the product too. So we expect break even, or we want to be debt free after 5.5 years, and after 7 years, we expect to have an accumulated profit of 20 million euros. Let me maybe show you the cost and revenue structure that's accumulated for the first 7 years to get a better understanding. We expect some 60 million in sales and some 40 million in costs. Obviously, the biggest part is R&D, which also includes that we have to contract experts in the fields of ionization and ultrasound, because we don't have all the knowledge to put this product into market. And the rest of the cost goes up for 20% for manufacturing, 12% for marketing, and 8% for the commission that we pay to the dentists. You're probably asking yourself now, why should those guys be able to do this? Well, I'll tell you something. We are a really diverse team, so we bring in backgrounds from the fields of business, engineering, and life sciences. And I think it's not just that what makes our team special. It's this drive for innovation. I mean, I've been thinking about this problem for the last 20 years. So now, I'm in a position where I could make a difference, and that's what we want to do.
So, what's next? What are the steps? We have the technology figured out, but we have to get that prototype. We want to be finished with that by 2018, get 1 year later the launch. And all we need for that is a funding of 1.5 million to get a really good working prototype the first year.
Yeah, and so for the people who are still not very convinced about our idea, let me just ask you one final question. How do you think that your grandchildren will brush their teeth in the future? Thank you.
Great presentation. I love that
Thank you.
chart, by the way. That's awesome. Two questions. Does this prevent gum disease? Because most of the electric and ultrasonic brushes are actually prescribed by dentists because of the prevention of gum disease, which has something to do with gums, which I don't know much about. And secondly, how am I going to use this to eliminate plaque and bacteria from my tongue? Because with the regular brushes, whether it's the little feather thingy at the beginning before Christ was born versus the electric brushes, those you can use on your tongues, which actually is recommended by dentists to be as clean as your teeth.
Okay, so starting with the first part about the gum disease, ultrasonic waves, they kind of massage the gums, so they strengthen them, and we think this can also prevent gum disease. And about the tongue cleaning, I mean, we didn't plan anything that actually cleans your tongue, but you can just like take some mouthwash and it should be the same. You should have the same results.
Two questions. First, do you know how many units per dentist per year they have to rent or sell in order to hit your numbers? And secondly, is broccoli positively or negatively charged?
Sorry, the last one. Is it broccoli?
Positive or negative? I don't know. So, anyway, so the real question was, how many units per dentist per year to hit your numbers?
Okay, so if you think of the regular dentist in a city, he probably has a client base between 3,000 and 5,000 people. So if we assume that he manages to sell the product to 10% of his clients, this would be like between 300 and 500 units. And this would mean that we need like around 50 dentists to cooperate with us in 1 year, and then we can like gradually expand.
So after you use your device, then how do you have to clean it? Is it just you buy it once a year, or you buy it once a month, or? I imagine it's going to get pretty dirty itself.
The device itself, if you don't use it, you store it in a station where it's cleaned with ultraviolet light, UV light. So all the bacteria gets killed, so nothing of that is there. You clean it normally like a toothbrush under the water, hold it there, flush it.
Then put it back in the station and the UV light kills all the bacteria.
Is the device itself electrified in any way?
It has a battery inside, yes.
But as you can see on the design prototype we have here, you want to try to put the battery and this thing outside so that it's not actually in your mouth and then transmit it.
And it's completely in the enclosure. So
A couple of questions. So I can see that it could be effective in eliminating plaque. What about applying toothpaste or just getting fluoride to prevent cavities?
Yeah. We still have to put toothpaste inside because, as you said, the fluoride is really important for you, for the health of your teeth. If you don't use it, your teeth get weaker and weaker. So you just have to put toothpaste inside, put it in your mouth, and turn it on.
And the ultrasonic action does the same, basically the same
Yes.
effect
Yes.
Yeah, you still have to kind of like it. All right. I think that the dollar per day, $365 per year, is just a little high price for something like this.
Yeah, but we already said that we don't want to target the mass market. We want to target really high income people and people who care about the health of your teeth, and maybe also say, okay, I'm glad if I can save 2 or 3 minutes a day and do some other stuff. It's just a form of convenience, and then of course in the course of time we can think of reducing the price and offering it to the public.
And how many dentists have you actually demonstrated this for?
We've been talking to some dentists back in Vienna, And I mean, the feedback was mixed, I would say, because of course, it's kind of a conservative branch. Like people, they don't trust in new things, and they say, for the last 7,000 years we've been doing this, so why should we do it that differently now? But we also found some people that said, like, that's a really good idea, we want to work together, we can give you some tips to get this started, and they would, I guess they would also be interested in promoting this device.
The other comment I have is, how much you're looking to raise, what, $1.5 million?
Yeah, we want to get $1.5 million in the first year.
Seems a little high for something simple. You know.
It's a simple thing. We do it every day, but we change it dramatically.
Yeah.
So it's a new way to do it. And
So if you just think of the development cost for the electric toothbrush, they were about 80 million. So this is like, seems still quite reasonable. And that's why we said, okay, for the first year we want $1.5 million. We also provide around 500,000 ourselves, friends, family, foods. And then in this 1 year we want to prove the concept, start working on the prototype, and once we have this we can raise more money and prepare for the launch of the product.
And what kind of pre-money valuation are you?
So I would say for the 1.5 million we would give out 10% of the company. But of course at a pretty high interest, so we expect to give them a return of like 10%.
Okay. Just some questions from the audience. How many times can it be used?
Well, as we said, you have it at home, you have the docking station, you use it twice a day, and whenever there's like a problem when something breaks, you send it in to get the new one, which is fix it, and every year you send a new device to the customer, and he sends it back. So.
Okay. And what happens to the gunk in your teeth when brushing? Does it just swirl around in your mouth? I mean, what happens to the plaque, I guess? Eventually your unit is going to get dirty, right? You get to clean it?
But what happens when you use a conventional toothbrush?
Well, typically you wash it afterwards, so I guess you would be...
Yeah, we also said you rinse it and then you put it back in the station. It's clean there and you just spit it out.
Okay, do you see any health
Big
risks?
science back there.
Do you see any health risks or this at all?
no, there are two technologies that exist on the market, also for healthcare. So there is no risk at it.
Yeah. Both technologies are actually used in toothbrushes, but they're not combined, and they're not combined in a device like this.
Yeah, are there any regulatory roadblocks in Germany or Austria?
Yeah, we wanna, of course, we have to check that, and I think you have more insight in that.
Yeah, it's the technology exists. That's the reason why we don't have to show that they are not harming the people or stuff like that. We just have to show that our device is not harming it. We looked it up, and it's like, I guess it's the 510K of the FDA. So, and this takes like 1 year to approve.
Half a year to 1 year, so like we want to get the prototype ready in 2018 and take 1 year to prepare the launch, get everything ready.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.